Good morning, everyone. Welcome. It's me again, your favorite YouTuber. And today, actually, I noticed that recently my vlogs has been getting longer and longer every day. So I thought to myself, it is time to shorten things. So I'll keep things as short as possible for today. So without further ado, what do I want to talk about today? What is my morning wisdom? So there is one thing that, as a language learner, I, I mean, this term is something I coined myself. I call it the long distance learner conundrum. I'm pretty sure they probably have a official name for it, but I don't know. I just call it a conundrum. And that is when you learn a language, a foreign language that you are passionate about or you want to learn, but then you realize that you don't have any friends from that country, you don't know any people that speak that language. What do you do? Especially to get in those hours into your speaking practice and listening practice somehow, but mostly you can get away with just exposure, listening to videos, movies, and others. So yeah, this is one of the biggest conundrums I have as a language learner. So, over the past, 15 years, I tried many languages. I picked this up, picked that up, and a lot of time I noticed that I have this problem where I don't know where I can practice my language. There's only so much I can do sitting in my room and talking, and it is completely different from when I meet an actual person. One of the reasons actually why I stopped learning Spanish, so I started it when I was in my university. In my first year, I was actually, I didn't know why, but at the time I was like, wow, I want to learn Spanish so much. So I went to the Spanish class at the university. The class was quite nice. The teacher, he was from Leon, I think, Spain, and it was fun class. I learned quite a lot, and as we all do, because Spanish is actually so close to English that when you start learning, you get to this imposter syndrome point very fast. So you start to feel like, oh, I know a lot. Oh, this is easy. That is easy. Oh, the words are easy. There is no trick pronunciations and all these things. So I was quite confident after like the first course, and then I met a Spanish guy, and then I just simply greeted him, and then he greeted back to me, but he spoke so fast for me. I think that is probably the normal speed of how the native talks. But for me, I just get hit by this reality check that I said like, ¿Cómo estás? And he said, muy bien, ¿y tú? But the way he said it, I couldn't even grab that he said muy bien, ¿y tú? And that was the moment where I lost all my motivation, because I felt like the goal is so far away, and I questioned myself like, will I be able to reach that speed? Will I be able to communicate with native? But back then I was a bit young and naive and pretty stupid too, so I guess that's probably why I stopped learning the language. So, but all of those stem down to this one, problem, is that it was my teacher. I spoke with him at the university in the class, but it was like 1 hour class per, I think twice a week actually. So, that's only so much you could do. So now, when I learn other languages, I still come across the same problems. But these days, it's not as bad as the back in the days, because we have internet and all this thing. But even with that, like if you're learning some really niche language, like the kind of language that you find, you don't find much people speaking, it could be quite annoying actually, because your probably available option is to actually pay for a tutor, but then tutors are not cheap, and you need a lot of hours of this practice, and over time they could add up, and yeah, it could become very expensive. But you can't even do language exchange either, unless, for example, if you know a language that is quite popular. For example, if you know like Japanese, Chinese, Korea, French, German, Spanish. If you're good at those languages, maybe you might have a chance because they are quite popular. But if you're someone who, from say Malaysia or South Sudan or something like that, and you want to learn some rare languages, good luck finding a language partner or a language parent. And that is one of the things that I always see in these advisors from different language teachers or language gurus. They're like, oh, you have to look for a language parent. Oh, you take a tutor. You have to find friends on italki. And yeah, the reality, it's not that generous. So right now, the best solution I know, which in the future, if I find a better solution, I will update you on that. But until then, my best solution at the moment is to look for I need to make a turn. Look for a Discord group or something like that. That, people learn that language. Oops. Give me a moment. Yes, look for a Discord group or something and go there and be nice. Be nice and ask people for help. I want to do a little practice. Can someone practice with me for 20 minutes? And the interesting thing is that unless your language is like super, super niche that nobody had ever heard of, there are most likely some Discord groups or even some Reddit groups that actually for people that learn the language. So right now, in my opinion, that is the best solution I could think of without spending money, or and also without being lucky. Of course, you can always be lucky and you can find someone who speak that super rare language, just happen to be your next door neighbor. So it could happen. But for most of us, most normies like us with shit luck, yeah, that is the thing I would say. But overall, yeah, this is one of those conundrums I have. As someone who loves learning foreign languages and rare languages, it kind of pains me to not able to know how to deal with that. Because every time I pick up a new language, especially when I really, really like the language, there's always this fear that, hey, what if I get to this part where I finish feeling good and where I want to really get to the point where I want to push myself further? What do I do? And yeah, so overall, that's if you have any advice or any solutions for that, I would love to hear from you language learners. I'm sure most of us language learners, we have our own little secret trick up our sleeves. So. But anyway, thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, no, not hopefully. I will see you tomorrow. So, and here's supposed to be little wow! I knew it. Okay, go away. Bye.